to share this story with you, even though I have to say I'm also feeling really vulnerable. Up until the publication of our novel, Awake, the Legacy of Akara, I told only a handful of really close friends about this, and because it is such a sacred story for me and vulnerable, but I really feel called and I hope that you enjoy it. I also feel pretty emboldened because the U.S. military's recent revelations about the existence of UFOs and their encounters and sightings over the last several decades. So I think it's time for these things to come out. So several years ago, I went camping with my then girlfriend in Sedona, Arizona, and we were up on a plateau, Red Rock Plateau, with spires all around us, and a campsite with a beautiful medicine wheel and campfire. And one day we went down to town and went to a New Age bookstore, as one does in Sedona, and there happened to be a meditation starting right then, and we thought, oh great, we can get out of the heat and spend some time in this beautiful meditation room. And this man named Richard Danley came in and started to do a meditation with us, and everything was pretty normal until at the very end he said, we're going to call in a mothership to come hover above the building now. And Chris and I just looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, it's so Sedona. And really, just kind of laughed it off. Bought his book though as a souvenir, UFO Planetary Ascension and Sedona Encounters, and went back to the campsite and had a beautiful evening, medicine wheel. We did kind of walk the medicine wheel and did this kind of ceremonial dancing as one does in nature. And then we went back to the campfire and I looked up in the sky at the beautiful constellation of Scorpio that was right on kind of the horizon, and I saw a light start to move. And I gasped and I said, oh my God, that's moving. And Chris turned around and said, it is, and it was traveling away from us in an S shape like this. And something came through me and just said, we see you. If you want to communicate, we're here. And immediately it turned back around and started coming our way. And it was just like, again, this kind of like gasping and a little bit of fear. And I said to Chris, they want to talk to you. Because I doubted myself and I was kind of afraid, and it just felt like she was more kind of spiritually mature than I was at the time. And so the ship, what was obviously a ship at this point, came back and came right in front of us, and just floated right in front of us, and it was kind of this light orange hue, kind of spinning, and then we saw that there were two kind of smaller ships that were like sentries behind it, and Chris got up and just was guided to go out to the medicine wheel, and she laid down in the medicine wheel, and that's how she meditated. And immediately, everything had blown my mind up until this point, but this just really took it to another level. I saw a light shoot out of her body and up to the ship and then back down. And I just went, you be good to her. And because I knew that she had traveled out of her body into the ship in her light body. And I heard a voice that said, don't worry, we will. And it was a female voice, and it was familiar. And I said, oh my God, Kaya, is that you? And she said, yes, it is. And I just was like, I can't believe it, because for the previous 6 months in meditation, I had a being come to me. Whenever I would close my eyes, she would just be right there in front of me. And I had never had anything like this happen before or since, actually. I am not psychic, I'm not a channel, I'm very grounded. And I was doing mindfulness practice, and then all of a sudden there's this being sitting in front of me, and I felt her presence, and it was her. And I realized that she had been preparing me for 6 months for this experience. And this was before Chris and I were even together, before I even knew I was going to Sedona. And so we just started talking, and I asked her the obvious questions, and I said, why are you here? And she said that Earth is a major hotspot in the universe, that they are here watching because the human race is on the precipice of possibly, evolving or dying out. And it was a really, really important time. And not only that, but they were here to hold the energy for us to evolve, but that they would not interfere with our evolution. But they are holding so that there can be that potential for that to happen. And then it would just set in just this beautiful, loving experience. It was very telepathic, and really just this transmissive experience of love and light. And then Chris, I saw the light from her disappear, and she came back over and she told me her experience on the ship, which was beautiful, but I'm not going to share that because that's her story. And I told her I was in the middle of a conversation, and I told her about Kaya, which I had told her already. I told a few people, like, what's going on, when I had the meditations. And she said, okay, and I went out to the medicine wheel, and I sat down in the middle of it like I normally sit in meditation, and I looked up and I said, I'm ready to come up. And I heard Kaya, she said, hold on, and I kind of felt her consulting with other beings, and she came back to me and she said, you can't come up, you're not ready. And I said, why? Chris got to, and she said it would be too much for your energy body, and you can't come here. And I said, was very disappointed for a moment, but then I said, well, can you come here? And she said, yes, I can. And I was very happy, yes. And so I closed my eyes like we normally, I experienced her, and I immediately felt her in front of me very strongly, even more so than at the campfire. And then I realized I could open my eyes, and I opened them and I saw her, a filament of light. It was like the side of her face and her shoulder, just an outline of her. It was dark, and it was just her energy body. And then I think the most amazing thing happened the whole night, and the smoke from the campfire came and wafted over her. And when you hold a flashlight to a campfire, it shows the beam like it's almost solid. You can really see the full beam. That's what happened. It filled out her face and her torso and her arm. And I saw her face, and she was so beautiful and very long and lean and hairless. And it was just breathtaking. And the way she was looking at me was so powerful. It was like she was looking at the most precious thing in the universe. Like I would look at a baby leopard or something just walking up to me in the woods, just like so beautiful. And I just took in this, it was almost too much to take in, but I sat there and just felt it so powerfully. And then we just sat in this incredible love, and it was like this almost like merging love. And she just so wanted to touch me. She just felt like this. She wanted to just touch me and like pet me almost and hold me. And so she reached out her hand and put it on my shoulder, and it went into my energy body. And my energy body, I started going like inside, like, and I said, you can't touch me. And she pulled her hand out, and I settled back down. It was like her vibration was just way too high for me to handle. And then we just sat in this beautiful space together for I don't know how long. And finally I said, I guess I should get back to Chris. And she said, yes, you should. And she left, and I got up and I went back to the fire and told Chris about it. And then we just sat and watched these ships, and they kind of put on a show for us, and were moving all over the sky. They would disappear, appear somewhere else. doing things that were like impossible to the laws of physics, it seemed. And so we just watched them till about 2 o'clock in the morning till we went into the tent and fell asleep. The next day, we documented the entire experience. Not that I could have ever forgotten a moment of it, but we both wanted to document it. And I got guidance at that time that I was meant to write about her and about these beings, this awakened civilization of loving, profound, wise beings, and that I needed to start writing. So I did, and I wrote many, many, many things because I was not ready as a writer to be able to pull off a whole world building of an awakened civilization. And I also got published with other novels. I wrote screenplays, and I also was preparing spiritually through meditation and healing practices, and I began getting downloads of quantum science and evolved technologies based on sacred geometry that would give free, clean energy and space travel. And I felt like I was supposed to write about this civilization because it's really what we can become, where we're headed, if we can get through this period of turbulence that we're in right now and evolve into oneness consciousness out of ego consciousness. And it's such a message of hope, and I believe that's what they're trying to share. And they wanted me to do it in a way that would reach a lot of people, a really fun, fast-paced story with a geo-quest and clues and things that so many people love. After all of this and writing and preparing myself on every level, spiritually as well, I still needed a co-author, and Julia Nadine Padawer, the smartest person I know, came on board, was inspired by the story, and we came together, and we are just so grateful to share it with you now. Thank you so much.